Moms and dads, have you ever stopped to think, is vagus nerve dysfunction causing my child's health challenges? Let's be honest, you probably haven't. But it's an interesting question and it begs a little bit more explanation. First off, what symptoms can be easily linked with the vagus nerve? Well, autism, ADHD, anxiety, asthma, allergies. I'm just, that's that bit. I'm only getting to the A's. We're talking about colic, reflux, constipation, sensory, SPD, headaches, exhaustion, gastroparesis, and you name it. If it has to do with the internal regulation of the body, yeah, there's a good chance that vagus nerve or vagal nerve dysfunction will play a role in what's going on with your child. Now, we could write a book or, super long poem about all of these different symptoms. What's that tell us? It doesn't tell us anything because that symptom is pretty much just a warning light. You look at your car, the check engine light comes on. We don't know why. We just know that check engine light's on. That's kind of how these symptoms present. The symptom presents because of a deeper dysfunction within the engine, or in your child's case, their nervous system. So our goal today is to help understand why that vagus nerve is tied to these struggles and, most importantly, how to help the darn thing. So if you are a mom or a dad with a child struggling with health challenges, and in your mom gut or your dad gut, you know it is somewhat either all related or deeper than the surface level stuff that you're told that they'll grow out of, then this video is for you. If you have anybody, friends, family that are dealing with a similar situation, please share it. So a couple things we got to lay out real quick. First off, what does the vagus nerve do? What happens and what causes it to go haywire? And number three, how do we measure that? How do we know? How can we show? How can we see? How can we track progress in a vagus nerve or a part of the parasympathetic nervous system when we know there's been insult, interference, subluxation, whatever the heck you want to call it? How do we know? That's what we're going to talk about today. Lucky you. Research has shown that the vagus nerve is crucial in helping to regulate our mood, our emotions, and our behaviors. It is also key to regulating the immune system, especially in lowering inflammation with its connection to our gut and the digestive system. It is a key connection to help our brain and our body systems to communicate and to function with ease. To put it simply, vagus nerve disorders can negatively affect almost every element of your child's health. Your health too, moms and dads. Don't forget. We know that infants' most important health functions starting out are the basics: eating, sleeping, and pooping. Then the motor system comes into play, the immune system, communication, speech, and emotional regulation begin to develop shortly thereafter. It's easy to see how a vagus nerve disorder could negatively affect or impact the function and development to one of these things or all of these things in our kids. So where do these vagus nerve dysfunction disorders come from? Well, usually the causes are a previous infection, inflammation, physical or psychological stress. As a pediatric chiropractor, I see many vagus nerve struggles traced back to birth trauma, such as prolonged labor or using instruments like forceps, vacuums during delivery, C-sections. I said it before, say it again. The C-section rate down here in South Florida is too darn high. Too darn high. You know what that means? Especially because the vagus nerve is very sensitive and it is extremely susceptible to trauma in the neck area. And with many of these things, it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly where, exactly when that past stressor or trauma took place and is impacting the present. Well, we are where we are. The important thing is taking those first steps to measure, to figure out if that system is off track, and then determine how much or how far it's gone off track. The most important exam for this, which is one of the 3 in our office that we look at when we're looking at assessment of the nervous system, is the HRV test, or heart rate variability. Now, heart rate variability, HRV, my Apple Watch says that, my Garmin watch says that, my iPhone says that, It says it's the statistical difference between the top and the bottom, and my Peloton says I'm good. Well, from a very base face value, sure, that's what HRV means. But what we look at HRV to mean, and what it does tell us, is it tells us the interplay between that sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight, oh my word, the walls are on fire, I gotta go, 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 and the parasympathetic system, that rest and digest and sleep and immune function and gut motility and all of those internal regulatory processes we need to focus on when we're not running for our lives, which, by the way, is most of the time. HRV can tell us that balance. It can tell us where things have gone off the track, how far, how long it's been like. There's a super easy 3-minute test we run this device. By measuring the pulse wave through the fingers, we can look at skin conductance, and we can look at measuring that pulse wave. This will tell us activity and balance of the system. And this is what that looks like. This is an example of an HRV scan of a 2-year-old girl named Elvie. Guess what? She had some vagus nerve challenges. Her parents said that her sleep, her digestion, her gross motor control struggled significantly. She didn't sleep as a baby. Her pediatrician said that the reflux and colic would be something that she would just grow out of magically, somehow. Wish I had that magic. But in looking at this, her parents knew that there was something more going on, because it's not just one system. It's not just the sleep system. It's not just the poop system. It's not just the eating system. It's everything around. That motor control coming into it, that seemingly at face value doesn't have a whole lot to do with sleep or digestion if you're looking at things in a very mechanistic, piece by piece mindset. But remember, we're not doing that. Your body is more than the sum of its parts. This delicate interplay working together of that nervous system, and specifically in this case, the parasympathetic nervous system, is extremely important. You're looking at a rainbow map. What's it mean? Well, when we read an HRV scan, this is how we look at it. If you look down below, there is a small white dot, kind of below the horizontal black line. And that tells us where Elvie was. Now, this is showing an autonomic activity index of just 54.89. What's that mean? Well, it means that her autonomic nervous system is indeed exhausted and running on a low battery. Because on a scale of 0 to 100%, we'd really like to be around 100% in terms of the internal regulation processes of our body functioning. Now, if we're in a 5% range, is that okay? Sure. The wheels are going to keep going around the bus. But for a little girl this young, this small, to be under this much duress in her parasympathetic nervous system, I mean, that's over 45% drop from where she should be. That's a big deal. And the data that accompanies it tells us if that sympathetic, that stress, fight, or flight system is the part that's off the charts, overflowing, doing way too much, or if it's beat down, tired, not functioning until you throw everything at it and then it explodes, or if that parasympathetic system is the part that's just beat down, not functioning, not where it needs to be, so that sympathetic system overrides, or if both are jacked up, both are beat down, we can really use it to pinpoint what part of the nervous system is dysfunctional and really how we need to go about taking care of this situation. This is one of the mainstays and the staples of our analysis. This tells us a ton of information. And what's always interesting is we talk about this stuff and mom and dad will look at each other, look at me and say, you hit the nail on the head. That's our kid. How do you know? You've only seen him for like 20 minutes and done these scans and talked about the history, but we've been living with him for 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years. When you look at the condition of the system, it really, really tells you a lot about what's going on. So if you suspect that you or your child are struggling with vagus nerve dysfunction, our neurological scans that we look at can be super helpful to guide us in having an in-depth conversation about your child or your mom, dad, or whole family's health struggles. We can make that connection. We can put the dots together. We color inside the lines, however you want to call it. We make these connections. We can help explain the tough things that don't really seem like they're explainable. So if this is you, this is your family, drop us a line. You can hop on our website, sign up for a 15-minute phone call consultation. It is completely free of charge. We'll talk a little bit more if you have in-depth questions. If you have questions you want answers to right now, drop it in the comments. Ask away. The questions that you may ask may be the same questions that many other families are wondering and asking, and just they're not ready to go on and start typing and asking questions yet. So making that small step could not only help your family, it could help others as well. If you have friends, again, please share this, throw it in a Facebook group, get these comments rolling, share it on YouTube, however you want to do it. Make sure that if there's people in your life that need this message, please help me get it to them. I'm looking forward to talking with you more. I can't wait to meet you. I'm here for you. I'm here for your kids. Let's get them off on the right foot. Speak with you soon. Take care.